meet your fate today. Taste the blood spilled from the sky. Right, the point you cross to take the bait. Right, is it fate you gave your life? Take the light of those who fight and pray. Waste your life for those who died.
Hey, everybody, welcome. Here we go. It's that time again. Matt Connerton Unleashed. And we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Wednesday, October 19, 2022. So welcome, everybody. By the way, our friend, I think our friend Easy G is calling in. He's going to try to do a miniature entertainment report over the phone. You know, the last time it went so well that, we just can't wait to do it again. So, yep, that will be forthcoming at around 4:30, I believe. Unless he lets me know that something came up. He was going to call in yesterday and do that, and he messaged me and said something about blurred vision or something, which is never good. So we shall see. But yes, if you'd like to join us on the program today, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007 is the studio line. You can also text me at 617-917-4476, tweet me at Matt Connerton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. I do want to remind you, of course, today is Wednesday, which means tonight is industry night at the Hop Knot. So if you are in the hospitality industry, I believe you get a discount, is how that works. Tomorrow night, of course, is trivia night. Thursday nights, hosted by the great Bill Cini. And it's funny, I was listening to the replay of the morning show. Of course, the morning show with Peter White, weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on WMNH, with a replay from 2 to 4 right before this show. And Carol Robideau from Manchester Inklink was on, and I think via Skype. And actually, I know for a fact via Skype, because that's the last person I saw on the Skype when I opened it up when I got here. And she was talking about, so Bill Cini is the husband of Ali Beaudry. Bill was on because he does trivia on the morning show on Wednesdays, and then Thursday nights he's at the Hop Knot. So he and Ali Beaudry are married, and yesterday I was playing an Ali Beaudry song called Why I Ain't With You, because Ali Beaudry is performing live on Friday night at the Hop Knot. So it's kind of cool, right? You know, you've got Bill Cini does trivia Thursday night, and then Friday night his wife, Ali Beaudry, performs live from 7 to 9 p.m. So we like it. You know, it's all kind of a one big extended family around here. Everyone's connected to somebody, and it's pretty cool. So, and of course, the Hop Knot, they've got those delicious gourmet pretzels and an ever burgeoning assortment of craft beer as well. But so Ali Beaudry will be performing there live Friday night from 7 to 9 p.m. And Carol was commenting how much she really liked that song. It's an old song. It's from, I forget exactly how I found it, but I think it's from 2008. So it's something she recorded quite some time ago, but it's really good. I do try to feature music from some of the artists who are going to be playing at the Hop Knot, since we have that wonderful partnership with them. And I also played today to open the show, Fury, which is one of my favorite tracks by the band Edgewise. Those guys are going to be here tomorrow in the second hour for a bit. They're going to come in. They're going to bring a couple of acoustic guitars and perform live for us on the show, acoustically, of course. This studio is not really made for a full loud electric performance, especially with we have neighbors in the building. And the building's actually kind of full now. It looks like when you walk into the building here at 1045 Elm Street and you see the directory of offices, it looks like a lot of folks have moved in. Which is nice. So it's nice to have neighbors here in the building, but we don't want to be too loud. So Rob Azevedo, of course, host of Granite State of Mind Friday nights at 6 p.m. here at WMNH. He used to have, when he first started doing the show here, this was not the first iteration of his show. He was also doing it at another radio station in Concord. But when he first started doing the show here, and we were in this big room, because we used to be in a smaller studio upstairs on the third floor. I'm sorry, on the 4th floor. This is the 3rd floor. Apparently, I'm dyslexic with floors. When we started doing all of our shows in here, when the radio station moved down here to the big room, Rob would have full bands come in with amps and everything. And, it wasn't a problem with neighbors at that point because this type of office building, everybody's out by 5 p.m. So by the time Rob would go on, that was never an issue. But it would just be, it's just, you have to have, this space just isn't designed for that. Let me put it that way. So now he usually does, just has acoustic, performances in here when he is in here, and he will be coming back soon. Rob, of course, Granite State of Mind has continued unabated, but he's been doing the shows out at recording them at Pembroke City Limits, that wonderful venue that he built, the barn. It's so cool. I was there a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago now, checking it out. It all runs together, and really amazing what he's done. But of course, now that the weather has turned cold, Rob will be returning to doing the show live here at WMNH, where it's nice and toasty. So that'll be nice to it'll be nice to see him actually, because I miss having him. He usually on a Friday would pop in a few minutes early on my program, and we'd talk politics a bit and talk music as well, and what he had coming up on his show. So that'll be nice. But yeah, the guys from Edgewise coming in tomorrow. They're going to perform for us and give us a little taste of their. I've never heard them acoustic, so that'll be really cool. Actually, I've never heard them play an acoustic set. I think they're going to do a couple songs. Not they're not going to probably hang out for the full hour, but yeah, and they're going to talk about, of course, the big show they have coming up Friday night at Angel City Music Hall, right up the street. So lots of good stuff coming up. 603-250-6007 is the number, 603-250-6007. If you would like to join us today, again, you can text me at 617-917-4476. Find me on social media at Matt Connerton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And if you do so during the show, I might just read it on the air. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and fully enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. Speaking of programming notes today, by the way, not only is Easy G, I think, calling in. I always keep it a little bit ambiguous with him because you never know when something suddenly comes up. But also John Hopwood is going to be joining us in the second hour, I believe. He is on the air right now doing his television program, WPYP TV. And I think Eric Pilcher is on with him. I saw Eric in the chat room earlier. He was checking in before he goes on John's show, Skyping in. And then John will be joining us in the second hour today. Let's say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat, and then we'll get into some stuff. There's so much to talk about, as there always is. Oh, yep, there he is in the chat room. Eric Pilcher. Hello, my WMNH fam, stopping in before going on Ward 13. Ward 13? Did John change the name of his show back to Ward 13? He always does in the end. He'll play with the name, and then he always goes back to Ward 13. Jenny is in the chat room, of course, and says, Shalom, peeps. Also, Crystal, our friend from Illinois. Jason Fedderson joins us, says, good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm possessed, but not really sure. Oh, my goodness. Well, if you start... if your head starts spinning and you start vomiting uncontrollably in the chat room, then we'll know. Crystal says, is that one of Jenny's paintings behind you? Possibly a big cat with a sky blue background. No, those of you watching online, or if you're watching on Channel 97 Comcast, you can see this painting. Oh, let me move the chair this way. There we go. That's actually something that Gonzo did. Our friend Gonzo, who, of course, is an amazing artist. Jenny is an amazing artist as well, and I'm sure she'll take it as a tremendous compliment, Crystal, that you thought that was one of hers. But that's actually one of Gonzo's works of art. Kind of, at least I think it is. I'm pretty sure. That'll be embarrassing if it turns out I'm wrong and it's somebody else completely. No, it looks like Gonzo's. It reminds me of Yellow Submarine, the Beatles. Not even sure why. It doesn't really look like a yellow submarine, but for some reason it does. Oh God, I just realized what it does look like. Oh no. That's embarrassing. Never mind. That's for the other show. Melanie La Liberty is in the Facebook live chat. She says, I'm holding steady in third place, up from sixth place this morning. Yes, vote for Melanie, please, for the next Face of Horror. And she did drop a link into the chat room. I got to send that link to my dad. My dad wants to vote for you, Melanie. Let's see. And we do have a call. I think this is our friend Easy G. Is this our friend Easy
Yes,
G?
it is. Yes, it is. They thought I called a few minutes early.
Wow, 2 minutes early.
A few minutes early, yeah.
Oh, a few minutes early. Well, you sound
I hope
great.
can you hear me?
Yes, you sound.
Good.
You sound
I
clear.
actually spent a half an hour writing all my information down. It's still going to be like 10-minute report. So
You wrote it
I
all.
told in the past I go on too long. So
You actually wrote it all down.
I did, amazingly,
Wow.
at 5 a.m.
You sound great. You sound clear. You sound lucid. You don't
Oh, good.
sound.
Maybe, 'cause I'm in another room, maybe, because so many dead spots in here. So
Oh, I thought you were going to say there's so
the
many.
other room.
I thought you were going to say there's so many
This
dead
is the
people.
dining room now. So
Right. You're in the dining room. So,
Right.
yeah. So that guy Bruce isn't going to bother you.
it's funny. I suspect you got my Facebook Messenger about the new song by Amanda McCarthy called "Lifeline."
Yes.
So you think you can play that when my little report is over, please?
Yes. I would love to.
Oh, great.
I would love
I
to.
don't think it's ever been played on the radio before. So it's maybe a world debut.
Yeah, this is really new, right? How recent is this? The
It
new,
came out.
the new track.
I have it down here somewhere. Hang on a second.
Oh, is it in your entertainment report?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Okay, it came out.
I mean, I didn't need the exact date.
Oh, here we go. It came out April Cushman.
It came out in April. Cushman?
Katie Dubs. No, but they got that song. They got that song. They got that song. Forget the name right now. But, oh yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, it came out November 14th. A brand new single. I think it's gonna be part of Sunset, and I think it's gonna be part of the new album. It's gonna be coming out sometime next year, I guess.
Did you say November 14th?
Yep. Oh no, sorry, October 14th. Whoops.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoops,
October
indeed.
14th.
Okay.
Egg in my face already. Wow.
Yeah, Sunset is a great track. I love that. But yeah, so the new one,
Yeah, I think it's gonna
Lifeline.
be part of a new album. You know, could be.
Yeah, so I will play Lifeline at the end of your report.
Excellent. Have you heard it before?
I don't think I have, and yet
Oh, you're in for a treat.
And yet I think I might have. It's strange. I'm conflicted. Part of me doesn't think I have, and part of me thinks I might have.
Yeah, all her songs are great, as you well know.
Why don't
I am
I?
her number one fan.
Why don't I?
I am her
see
number
it?
one fan, after all.
It's not on. Is it not on YouTube?
It's on Spotify, I believe.
No.
I don't think it's on YouTube, no.
Oh, that's fine. I can do that. Should be
It's
on
on
YouTube.
Apple. It's on a couple. I don't think it's on YouTube yet.
Apparently, it's not on YouTube yet.
It might be though.
I don't see
I know
it.
it's on
I
Spotify,
don't see
Apple,
it.
all the platforms except YouTube, I guess.
Don't see it on YouTube.
I could be wrong about that, but it's on Spotify. I know that's where I listen to it.
You could be
'Cause
right.
I prepaid for it. I mean, I don't think I paid for it. I just set it up on my Spotify so I can listen to it whenever I want.
You may be wrong. You may be right. It just may be a lunatic you're looking for, Easy G. Oh, don't tell Bruce.
Right.
Don't tell Bruce I said that.
Yes. Well, the theme today is going to be Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And a little bit of April, a little bit of Katie Dobbins, and a little bit of Amanda McCarthy.
That's
A little
great.
bit of Crystal.
Those are three holidays that go really well together. You just kind of mash them
They
all
do.
together. Yes.
And I didn't write a ton of information down. I want to keep it about 10 minutes. So
About 10 minutes, huh?
just the big stuff, you know. I didn't go for the little stuff.
Right. Sorry, I was looking for Amanda McCarthy Lifeline on Spotify.
Right.
Well, if you're ready, Easy G, I'll go ahead and I'll hit your theme music.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh boy,
Why not?
everyone's on pins and needles.
He was once a thug from around the way. Easy.
You want to know about stock market crashes, COVID-19, drive-bys, celebrity gossip? Easy G's gotcha. Entertainment report style.
Why I'm easy. Cause ain't nothing but a G thing, baby.
Are you ready for start time?
Let's find out. Ready, set, go.
All right. We always dedicate. Oh,
Sorry?
we always dedicated a few people, and they're going to get married in a couple of days. A power couple of minutes. Who would have thought you could find Love at the Arcade, Ed and Ellie. They just got a little recognition with a T-shirt over at Disc Cafe. Those guys are everywhere. So congratulations to them, and I think Texas Mike is going to their wedding, so that should be fun.
Now, who is yelling in the background, Easy G? Who is that?
Oh, that's the youth. Oh my God, that's the lady in charge of activities.
Okay. Now, does the lady in charge of activities realize that you're doing an entertainment report? And quite frankly,
Right.
that takes precedence over any activities, I would say.
Oh boy. Also going to dedicate it to my mom and dad. October 22nd, the 57 years of marriage.
57 years of marriage. Is that what the lady who's in charge of activities is yelling about?
No, she's just yelling. Anyway, he's leaving in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we'll get going here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a big day here. Over here, I'm signing up to vote, and then I'm gonna vote, and then I'm gonna have maybe a Foley strip and Crystal at 2:00. You know, I like those ladies that play music.
You do. You love the ladies that play music.
And then she played a guitar, but I fell asleep most of the show. I was tired. So I'm going to try to stay awake. Then we have Masonic Day. I fell asleep at that. Oh, boy. Anyways, use this information. So anyways, you got October 29th at 1:30 to 5. It's a free event. Trick or treat at Fisher Cats. And then they turn around and have November 24th, sponsored by the Dharma Hitchcock Clinic. The Thanksgiving Day run, 6:30 a.m. You got to get up early for that.
The
And
Dahmer.
one year they had horrible weather. It was like sleeting, and they still had the raining.
Did you
They
say
still had people show up.
Did you say the Dahmer Hitchcock Clinic? I mean, I know it's Halloween time, but I don't know if I'd go there.
No, it's sponsored for the Thanksgiving run. They have it every year at Fisher Cats. Yep.
The Dahmer Hitchcock Clinic, huh?
But I think you got to pay a fee for that event, so it's not a free event because it's a charity.
Uh-huh.
I forgot what charity it is. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, and speaking about Halloween, there's going to be a Halloween in Manchester trick or treat on the day of Halloween on Monday at 6 to 8. And they say on Halloween, give me trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat.
Jason Federson says that's rude, falling asleep. Yeah, you shouldn't be falling asleep.
Yeah,
while,
you're right. I apologize. Yeah, I apologize to Crystal and the priest.
Yeah,
Don't worry
please.
about it.
Yes, you should
I
apologize.
want to stay awake, though. That's embarrassing.
You want to stay awake for the ladies with the guitars because you like them so
I
much.
know, it's embarrassing. I woke up like 5 minutes later, and 5 minutes left. She said, okay, see you later. I was like, oh, no.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, then we get to October 22nd, another big day here in the Manchester FCC Church Fair, 9 to 3. You know, like Christmas stuff.
The
Over in Union
FCC?
Street in Manchester, and that's a free event.
Did you say
Anybody
FCC?
can show up.
FCC Church Fair? I'm not big fans of them.
Yeah.
They tell me I can't say bad words. By the way, Scott Robinson in the chat says, easy, tell these people in the background to pipe down.
Yeah, she's gone now. Anyways, I know if Peter White's listening, he loves the church events. There hasn't been a lot of church events in the last 2 years because of COVID.
Right.
And speaking of Christmas events, the Peter White announced it, so it's okay for me to announce it, I guess.
I guess.
December 3rd, the annual Christmas parade downtown Elm Street. Believe it or not, it's a free event. And I might be going if I get a ride. So
believe it or
maybe I
not.
can, see Rocky at the event.
Is
Weather
there
permitting,
a,
though, if it's 10 degrees, I would not be going.
Is there a parade that you have to pay to go to? I'm not aware
No,
of
it's
it.
a free event. I know how you love parades there, Matt.
I don't. No.
I know, I'm teasing you.
Now, Crystal.
I didn't write down the time, so I'll get to that. I call tomorrow. There's supposed to be a big Facebook event on. Well, they're supposed to announce it on the Facebook all the events. So when I see that, I'll share it.
Yes.
And I believe there's always a Santa shuffle, and they also have a person ahead of the parade that they honor. I think last year was one of the cops downtown, the lady cop.
Wow.
So they recognize her, and she goes to sit like in the car at the end, at the beginning, and then of course the end they have Santa Claus.
The only shuffle I like is the Super Bowl shuffle, and I'm not even a sports fan, but I like the Super Bowl shuffle. Maybe I should play that too.
Chicago Bears, that was
yes,
Chicago Bears
I know. I have family in the Midwest.
Anyways, they're also going to have a parade in Nashville, but on the same day. But I was told not to announce all the information because it's not official yet.
Now,
but I think it's going to be the same day as Manchester Parade. So when I get the word it's official, I'll announce that event.
Now, Eric, I have a question. Why?
My first Nashville event.
Why, pray tell, when you're in the middle of your entertainment report, would your friend Bruce be starting an argument with the activities lady? I mean, it sounds like they're arguing about something. What is going on there? It's anarchy. It's pandemonium.
We'll wait a few minutes.
I mean, I think. Look, I would never, I would never advocate violence, but I am a fan of professional wrestling, and frankly, I think it's about time this Bruce character took a steel chair to the head.
Okay, here we go. About April Christmas time, October 28th, next week, I believe, at the Backyard Brewery, 6:00, right here in Manchester. Hear her lovely dulcet tones, as you would say. And she's also going to be playing at the New England Music Awards, November 13th. It's a ticketed event. And she's up for 6 awards, but unfortunately the voting is closed. And she's going to be playing with this guy, Brady Myrick. So they're going to be the main act of the Music Awards. And she's also playing another ticket event.
Who are you talking about?
Keene, New Hampshire, called the Colonial Theater, and it's featuring Charlie. I can't even say his last name, but a guy named Charlie. He has like 15-letter name and last name. So.
Charlie, yeah.
A guy named Charlie will be playing with him.
The guy named Charlie. Now, who is this though? Who is the person you were talking about who's going to be doing all this?
April Cushman.
Oh, April Cushman. Oh, April Cushy, huh? Oh, wow. Listen to you.
I like to see it on October 28th, but I can't get a ride. So
now Melanie is asking an important question in the chat room. This one is directed to me, Easy. She said, "Do parades scare you? Why the dislike?" They do scare me. Who does that song about the girl who didn't want to go to the parade because she didn't want the parade just passing her by or something? I'm like her.
Yeah.
I don't like parades.
You know what it is? Some people love parades and some people hate them.
Some people love them. Some people hate them.
I have a feeling that, I can announce this too. Peter White will be there at the Veterans Park announcing the parade for public access TV.
Yes, he does that every year, I believe.
He said that this morning, so I'm allowed to say it.
Okay, good. And you didn't go beyond...
We don't know who the guest is going to be, but I'm sure he will announce it.
And you haven't gone behind his back and sabotaged that for him?
No.
Good.
He announced it this morning that he will be there. So.
Good.
Because you know what happened at Taco Tour? He announced it before.
I know.
Said, Eric, what are you doing?
Taco Tour is probably your worst scandal of your many scandals. That was tough. I mean, the entire city was engulfed.
I found out about the Christmas parade by calling City Hall yesterday. I said I better keep it under the table because I don't want to get in trouble from the mayor.
Right. I don't know if
she's on my good side right now.
I don't know if she has any jurisdiction over you now, Easy. Now that you're living in Nashua.
Yeah, but she knows where she has my Facebook Messenger. I don't want her. Anyway,
that's true. She could. You know what? Because if
today when they announce it, so if Peter White can announce it, I'll announce it too.
If you got in trouble,
I gave him the first recognition because he's going to be there at the.
Yeah, it's good of you.
Always there.
Yeah, he's always. Yeah, if you got in trouble with our mayor, I suppose she could call the mayor of Nashua, and then the mayor of Nashua would have to give you a stern talking.
But I didn't want any hot water, So
no hot water. No, only. Do you have hot water at the facility there?
Not right now. I don't.
Nope. Just
cold. I want to move on. I want to keep it short here. The AEW pay-per-view next month, November 19th, Saturday at Phil Gear. So we'll see what happens there. I think CM Punk and other guys probably won't be there. Eventually, they're going to let him go. I think maybe they'll come WWE. I don't know. CM Punk won't. But anyway, WWE. All the pay-per-views are exclusively on Peacock channel, and I won't be watching this one. But anybody else wants to watch it, November 5th at noontime. This event I don't like, but somebody else might like it. The Crown Jewel of Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
I am boycotting that one. With Big X.
Brock Lesnar is going to be there. Your favorite.
Yes, he will. I will watch this one, November 26th. Survivor Series, 8 o'clock. I think this is Saturday. November 26th in Boston, Massachusetts, believe it or not.
Boston? I can't believe it.
Yeah, I believe it.
I can't.
Okay, we're going to move on to Katie Dobbins. You might remember that lady.
Katie Dobbins, yeah, you like Katie Dobbins.
Tickets. It's a ticketed event for her. That's great news. December 22nd, around the corner, at the Loft at Herman's Woods in Meredith.
Herman's Woods.
Opening up for. I can't even say this guy's name. So he's opening up for a star I never heard of. And his name I never heard of. So I won't even announce it because I don't know how to say it.
You know who?
He's also got new music coming out in January of next year.
You know who lives in the Herman's Woods? Herman's Hermits.
Yeah, maybe.
No, they do. I've seen them.
Ticket event so to make some cash.
I've seen them. They scare me. That's why I don't like parades, because sometimes there'll be hermits in the parades, and it's like,
Right.
I'm afraid of people who are afraid of me.
Yes. Okay, we're going to end it with
already.
McCarthy's new song on October 14th, not November.
Uh-huh.
And you can go on all the platforms, Spotify, Apple, and you can either pick it up or you can actually pay somebody. There's I guess it's kind of like a donation button, and the money goes to her, I guess.
Now,
I didn't quite understand it.
Do you know if this song has been played on any other radio station yet?
I don't think so. She
That
was on
would-
Almost Famous. You know Almost Famous?
That would make
I think it's a show in
this.
Concord.
That would make this Easy G. That would make what is about to happen a world radio premiere of her new song.
Right. Have you ever heard that? She was on Almost Famous like a week ago. You ever heard that channel?
No. I know
It's
know the
a
movie.
radio show called Almost Famous. She was on that radio show. I don't know where it's from. I don't know if it's Concord or...
I don't
I
know.
tried to get it on my radio, but I couldn't get it. Like 90-something.
Couldn't get it?
It doesn't matter. It's on another radio station, but it could be the world premiere, yes. I'm not 100% certain, but it could be. I told Tom, her future hubby, that it's going to be played, and he said, wow, great. Give it a little heart.
Now, Jason Feddersen indicates, he said, I heard it once before, but I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that, Jason, and I'm going to declare this. The official world radio premiere of the new Amanda McCarthy single.
At least it will be on 95.3.
The official. Well, unless Peter White played it, which is possible. Or Rob could have played it on Granite State of
I
Mind.
don't listen to every second of his show.
Well, why don't you?
Sometimes
That's very hurtful.
I did listen to it today, and Kara Roberto was the winner of the trivia. I listened to it every week, and I only knew like one answer today. It's like, what? So hard.
Melanie in the chat room says...
Remember you used to play trivia with your significant other, Jenny? I even joined you one time, and the only person I knew was NASCAR, Tony Stewart.
Trivia at the Hop Knot. Melanie in the chat room says, I bet Amanda and Tom make out tons, like every day.
Tons of what, money?
Never mind.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I think you know. Okay, well, I'm going to end it with that crazy
Yes,
segment.
yes.
Looking forward to hearing the Lifeline. So that will be it for today.
What a crazy segment. All right, Easy G, thank you so much, my friend.
I think I kept it to 15 minutes. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye. All right, that was our friend Easy G, Eric Gagnon, and here it is. I have not heard this yet, but I do love Amanda McCarthy, not the same way that Eric does. But this is Lifeline, the brand new single.
Morning comes stronger than the coffee grounds. Look in the mirror, only I am found. Scrolling through the memories, living in my phone. I can't say I miss you, but I really wanna know. Did you learn to sympathize when you made somebody cry? Are you still convinced you're always right? Did you ever learn the words to that one song by Sublime? Did you ever find your own lifeline? Every anniversary's just another spring. We pick me little flowers and I wear your high school ring. Dreaming of the day where it might be the real thing. I can't say I miss you, but I can't help but think. Did you ever tell your mom that I'll miss her apple pie? I like to think she knew my reasons why. Did you ever Success won't come if you don't try. Did you ever find what I saw the whole time? I hope one day you learn to love with someone other than yourself in mind. I hope one day you find your own lifeline. I hope one day you find your own lifeline.
Very nice. That is Lifeline, the brand new single from Amanda McCarthy. Easy G is in the chat room and says, I love this girl, Amanda McCarthy. Yes, yes. I've known Amanda longer than Eric. I've known Amanda for like almost 15 years, I think. I interviewed her. It must have been 2008, maybe? 14 years, 13, 14 years. I'm bad at math. Way back on another show that I do that airs on another station. I interviewed her for that show, and she had a song called Sticks and Stones, which I think we actually played on this show not that long ago when she was on, just for the hell of it, just to kind of go back to the beginning. And it was a song about bullying, and she won an award for that song. And I've interviewed her various times over the years, and always just a lovely person. And very glad to see all that she's doing, and Easy G, of course, also quite fond of her, and maybe a little jealous of Tom, but Tom also a fantastic musician, Amanda's partner and fiance. So very happy to support what they do. A few months ago, back over the summer, Amanda had that song Sunset, which I might play today at the break. Haven't played that in a while. That's actually my favorite of hers. Is Sunset. It is so catchy. Love that track. All right. Well, 603-250-6007 is the number to call. 603-250-6007 if you would like to join us on the program today. Also, you can text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is give us a call at 603-250-6007. Let's see. Melanie was asking in the chat room about parades. I'm not personally a fan or a partaker. She says, did you have a traumatic parade experience? Candy thrown right in your eye by a maniacally laughing clown? Maybe. She says, that happened to me once. I barely escaped with my life. Yeah. She said, I wouldn't lie to you guys. Let's see. Just want to make sure we don't miss anybody in here. And as I did mention, Easy G is in the chat room. And we will, if you're just joining us, by the way, you missed, we just had Easy G's entertainment report. First one in a long time, but hey, sounded good. Sounded really good. So thank you for joining us, Eric. N Saturn is in the Facebook live chat and says, hello, Matt. Hello, hashtag Matt. Hello, hashtag Jenny Coffee. We said to you, Matt and Jenny, we are performing on October 27th, 2022 is a fall dance at Lindley Recreation Center at 6 to 8 p.m. We will be performing and covering tunes. We say good afternoon, hashtag Matt. Well, good afternoon to you as well. Very nice. Very nice. Got a bunch of these folks who all talk about their music and they all kind of talk the same. It's interesting. Couple things, and we might circle back to this, as Jen Psaki used to say in the second hour. John Hopwood is going to be in the second hour, but the two things on Russia. I know we talk a lot about Russia. They're in the news a lot, if you haven't noticed, with the invasion of Ukraine. And one of them is kind of the big story today. But there's a secondary element to this, perhaps even a third, actually, that may be going a little bit underreported. But let's talk about the main thing that has occurred. This is from the AP. Putin escalates war with martial law as he faces threats. This is the latest from Vladimir Putin what he has done is he seems to be lurching around wildly, looking for some way to find success in this invasion effort. It says here, Russian President Vladimir Putin doubled down today on his faltering invasion of Ukraine with a declaration of martial law in 4 illegally annexed regions and preparations within Russia for draconian new restrictions and crackdowns. Putin's drastic efforts to tighten his grip on Ukrainians and Russians follow a series of embarrassing setbacks. Stinging battlefield defeats, sabotage, and troubles with his troop mobilization. The martial law order belies the Kremlin's attempts to portray life in the annexed regions as returning to normal. The reality is that a military administration has replaced civilian leaders in the southern city of Kherson, and a mass evacuation from the city is underway as a Ukrainian counteroffensive grinds on. The battle for Kherson, a city of more than 250,000 people, with key industries and a major port, is a pivotal moment for Ukraine and Russia heading into winter when front lines could largely freeze for months. It's the largest city Russia has held during the war, which began February 24. A trickle of evacuations from the city in recent days has become a flood. Local officials said today that 5,000 had left out of an expected 60,000. Russian state TV showed residents crowding on the banks of the Dnieper River, many with small children, to cross by boat to the east and from there deeper into Russian-controlled territory. In announcing martial law effective Thursday, Putin told his Security Council, quote, "We are working to solve very difficult large-scale tasks to ensure Russia's security and safe future," unquote. Putin is undergoing pressure from a Ukrainian counteroffensive that has clawed back territory, sabotage of a strategically important bridge linking Russia with Crimea, assassinations of Kremlin-installed officials to Kherson, and mistakes he himself has admitted in his partial troop mobilization. Putin's martial law declaration authorized creation of civil defense forces, the potential imposition of curfews, restrictions on travel and public gatherings, tighter censorship, and broader law enforcement powers in Kherson and the other annexed regions. In an ominous note, Putin opened the door for restrictive measures to be extended across Russia, too. That may lead to a tougher crackdown on dissent, dispersal of anti-war protests, and the jailing of people making statements or providing information about the fighting that differs from the official line. The severity of new restrictions inside Russia depends on proximity to Ukraine, covering freedom of movement and other security steps. In the Kherson region, Ukrainian forces have pushed back. We won't get into the weeds on that. We know that the Ukrainians, God love them, they continue to just be amazing in the defense of their country. I want to skip down here just to clarify what this martial law means, this martial law order. So it says here, under martial law, authorities can force evacuations. Ukraine's national security chief, Oleksiy Danilov, said on Twitter that Putin's declaration is, quote, preparation for the mass deportation of the Ukrainian population to the depressed regions of Russia to change the ethnic composition of the occupied territory, unquote. Let me read the last part of that sentence again. To change the ethnic composition of the occupied territory, unquote. So what is he planning for the deportation of the Ukrainian population? Are they going to be, we have spoken a lot about that word genocide on the show. Is that what's happening here? Is this, depending on how you want to define the word, there's a difference between calling it, I've called it genocide, Jenny calls it genocide, but does it match the established legal definition according to international law? Maybe, maybe not. We've had discussions about that on the show. But this sounds genocidal, does it not? This statement? I mean, you hear a phrase like change the ethnic composition of the occupied territory. What does that sound like to you? What does that evoke in your mind? Our friend Ron is calling in. Hey, Ron.
Hey, man, I'm going to be fast. I just got a question, and I'll take your answer off the air.
Sure.
Did I read or something about today that Putin is ordering a martial law on Kiev, or somebody is, something along the way? Does that ring a bell?
Yes, that's what I was just talking about. That's what this AP story is about. Not on.
I'm wicked sorry.
Oh, that's
you know what
okay.
I mean? I'm multitasking as I'm listening to you. I just got done listening to Eric.
No, that's
and
okay.
Multitasking, and I missed it. I apologize for all the listeners.
That's okay, Ron. It's not Kiev though, but it's martial law on the 4 occupied territories, or the 4 territories that they claim to have occupied, that they've illegally annexed. But yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Ron. No problem. Thank you, my friend. All right. Well, that does open up the line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. It says here, for months, reports have circulated of forced deportations, and an AP investigation found that Russian officials deported thousands of Ukrainian children to be raised as Russian. Russia's foreign minister said Putin's decree is illegal. Ukraine's foreign minister, did I say that, Ukraine? That the decree is illegal, calling it part of his effort to, quote, deprive the inhabitants of the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine of even basic human rights, unquote. Russian authorities played up fears of an attack on her son, seemingly to persuade residents to leave. Text messages warned residents to expect shelling, Russian state media reported. One resident reached by phone described military vehicles leaving the city. Moscow installed authorities scrambling to load documents onto trucks, and thousands of people lining up for ferries and buses. There's a lot of panic. Just skipping down a little bit, but leaflets told evacuees they could take 2 large suitcases, medicine, and food for a few days. Skipping down. Okay. Incapable of holding all the territory it has seized and struggling with manpower and equipment losses, Russia has stepped up air bombardments with a scorched earth campaign targeting Ukrainian power plants and other key infrastructure. By the way, it is worth noting about that Russia's Air Force, 5 times the size of Ukraine's Air Force, and yet the degree of incompetence of the Russian military, this is a great example of it. Their Air Force is 5 times the size, so they have 5 times the air power in theory, right? And yet, at no point during this war thus far has Russia successfully been able to control the sky over Ukraine. It's remarkable. But again, the heart and soul of the Ukrainian people, it's just amazing. And then it gets into these missile attacks, which I think we might have touched on yesterday. But yeah, so Putin declaring martial law. Now again, it does seem to me that Putin continues to just sort of flail about wildly trying to find something that works because he does want to get this war wrapped up. I mean, can you imagine how embarrassing it will be if we get to February and it'll be a full year of this? How embarrassing it will be for Putin? Yeah, Melanie in the chat room said very final solutionish. The thing about ethnic. Well, he didn't say ethnic cleansing, but what did he say? What they're doing, getting Ukrainians out of there and taking the children away to be, quote, raised as Russian. And Saturn in the chat room says, we say it's located in Greensboro, North Carolina. We are from here, Matt Connerton. Oh, very good. And Saturn also says, also another ongoing group is performing is a pop girl group, Astro Unison. We said to you, #Matt, to go to their Facebook like page. I have a funny feeling Astro Unison is going to be showing up in our chat room. And Saturn says, hashtag Matt, we say, have you never drank hot chocolate with milk? No, I don't drink hot chocolate. I don't like, I don't like hot drinks. Oh boy. And there's something about Keurigs in here that we're not going to get into. So the other thing, before we get to the top of the hour, now another emerging development, and I'll probably ask John Hopwood for his feedback on this when he comes in the second hour. But if I want to share with you my feedback, I'll have to get that in now while I still have space to actually speak and express ideas. So I'm kidding. I love John. I love having him in. I ran into him in the hallway earlier. I said you should come on today. It's been a couple of weeks. But here's the thing. So John has made comments about, at one point saying that he thought that this was all intentional, that Putin planned it this way because the idea is to drain the West. And it reminded me of, they say that Osama bin Laden used to say he was going to drain the West by getting us bogged down, by luring us in and getting us bogged down in an invasion of Afghanistan, for example. And that he would just kind of wait it out and wait for us to expend all of our resources there in Afghanistan and Iraq and just, until we were bankrupt. And John seemed to express a similar notion that might be Putin's strategy. And I don't know that he's wrong. I mean, I support our supporting Ukraine in this, and I have from the beginning, but, short with strict limitations, by the way. At no point, as I've said many times, at no point can we directly engage the Russians. At no point should any NATO member state directly engage the Russian military, because that can, then we're on the ladder of escalation at that point, and that's not where we want to be. But I do support our supporting Ukraine in their efforts to fight off this invasion. But John had said that, look at the effect it has on our economy, on fuel prices for both for us and for all of Europe. And all that we're expending. Granted, our support of Ukraine is only a fraction of our defense budget. But, and you might be thinking, really? I thought we were spending like billions of dollars on Ukraine. Well, our defense budget is enormous. It's a very big pie. It's a very small piece of an enormous pie. But it is having a negative effect. And the reason I bring that up is because Putin might be waiting for something very specific to happen. And I'll tell you what that is in a moment. But our friend Shannon is on the line. Hi, Shannon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You were mentioning, what does that sound like? And the first thing that came to my mind was Germany.
Yes.
And, that one. I think Putin will be SOL if, and I heard this on NPR, and when he goes to another country to visit his family, or whatever he does, Putin, his security team carries a suitcase or a briefcase. Did you hear this?
I didn't hear. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but I assume you mean the nuclear football, like the Secret Service carries wherever the American president goes.
When he goes to another country and has a bowel movement, it doesn't hit the water. It gets put in that suitcase and taken back to Russia.
I didn't know that. That's
you didn't know that? That's a fun fact I heard on Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Oh, on Wait, Don't Tell Me. Now it makes sense. Well, these, I'll tell you, some of what these airlines do, I mean, they're out of control.
Yeah.
Putting bowel movements in suitcases. I mean, I just want, like when I fly, I don't want them messing with my luggage, even if it is my bowel movement. I don't want it in my own suitcase or anyone else's.
Right. I'm just saying, it's a thing of Putin's. He doesn't want his stuff hitting any other water than in Russia.
Well, that's
because he's paranoid.
Yeah.
You know.
That's crazy, but he is crazy, I think. So I suppose that makes sense.
Would that be a megalomaniac?
I think
no, I'm not saying it right.
No, a megalomaniac. I think he is a megalomaniac.
Okay.
I see this. Yep, I found the story, Shannon. Insider.com has it. Putin's bodyguards collect his poop on trips abroad and take it back to Russia with them, a report says. I hope it at least goes in like a doggy bag of some kind, or not a doggy bag like you get at the restaurant, but you know what I mean.
No, but I'm just picturing this jackass putting his legs through like a Hannaford type shopping bag, and
I know.
It's making fun of him. He's a jerk.
But there is a logic to this. Apparently, it says here, according to Insider, it appears to be an attempt to stop foreign spies from discovering information about his health.
Right. Probably.
So there is a reason.
I'm thinking there's steroids in the water over there.
Maybe. Well, he's very muscular himself. I mean, have you seen the picture of him shirtless on a horse? Oh my goodness. I mean, that's
wasn't impressed.
It's quite a man.
Now, if it was Jared Leto on the back of a horse, shirtless, then I might be impressed.
Sure. I understand. I mean, I don't understand that. You know what I mean,
right?
Not that there would be anything wrong with that, but I understand.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think, and thank you so much for saying Kiev, because when I hear news reports and they say Kiev, I'm going Kiev. It's Kiev.
Well, no, I usually do say Kiev. I might slip, but no. Apparently, it's supposed to be Kiev, according to President Zelensky, and all this time that we've been saying Kiev, we were saying it wrong.
Well, the people from Ukraine say Kiev.
Are you sure?
Yes.
The
maintenance the property manager and maintenance guy are from Ukraine.
Oh.
Where I live, and I asked him. I said, "Is it Kiev or is it Kiev?" And he said Kiev.
Oh, that's interesting.
So.
Huh. Very interesting.
You learned 2 new things today.
Yes. Well, very good. Well, I appreciate that, Shannon.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you for the call. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
All right. Shannon leaves us. And that does open up a line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. We'll hold off a little bit on the break because our well, he's not a guest. He's a friend of the show because he's here on a fairly regular basis. But we do have someone who has arrived in the studio. And I will hit his theme music here. But he's a good law-abiding citizen, John Hopwood.
Am I?
Aren't you?
Well, there is news about the ABC News producer who's disappeared.
I didn't even know about this.
Yes.
Well, we'll talk about it in the second hour.
Yes.
Yes. Did you know?
I know what?
That when Vladimir Putin travels abroad,
it's his double.
It's his double?
Isn't that what you're going to tell me?
No. That when he poops, they put it in a suitcase so that his poop does not fall into foreign hands who can then...
Yeah, I would think that would be standard with anybody.
Really? Interesting.
I got to... the blinds are... It's just like a little dot that's coming in.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Where's my shotgun?
Your shotgun?
Where's my submachine gun? Is that Steyr?
My goodness.
Yeah, because you don't want anybody having the DNA to make a prion-based, like biological weapon or even a virus that would target him.
Yeah, that's what it says here. It's about...
you go on, I can hear you.
Yeah, so according to BusinessInsider.com, it's because they don't want foreign spies discovering information about his health, which I suppose especially makes sense right now, whereas there's been all these rumors swirling about his health. but not swirling around a toilet apparently because it goes into a suitcase. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and I don't know if your ears were burning, John, as you were on your way down from upstairs, but do you remember a conversation we had months ago on the air about you were talking about a Putin's strategy of just effectively draining the West?
Yeah,
like just letting this drag on, and that this was probably his plan all along, or may have been his plan all along.
Right. There were articles just before the pipeline explosion saying that he was winning the economic war.
Well, the reason I bring that up is, and this is something that has, I think, flown somewhat under the radar, but he may have good reason to just want to let this grind on a little bit longer. Because Kevin McCarthy, who is most likely going to be the House Speaker in the new term, because the Republicans are likely to take control of the House the way things are looking. The Dems will probably maintain control of the Senate, but the Republicans will take the House. And Kevin McCarthy will be Speaker. And he is signaling openly now, and he's kind of hinted at it a little bit, but he is now openly suggesting that the House Republicans in the new term will not necessarily want to continue support for Ukraine.
Well, that's probably they're just looking for more Ukrainian cash. As we know that Paul Manafort, who was part of one of the staged impeachments of Dumpy, what's the guy's name that was president?
Starts with
Dumpy.
Oh, Drumper.
Oh,
is it Drump?
Drump. There we go. I'm having senior moments now. I was talking to Eric we were talking about baseball and betting. Then I mentioned about Tom Brady, and I said, remember when Indianapolis first beat the Patriots? And then I realized it's because I meant the Giants, because there's two brothers, the Manning brothers.
Oh, yes.
And at a certain time, I was sleeping with a fan of the Manning brother from the Guardianapolis Colts in the state of Gardiana.
How scandalous.
Oh, yeah. And I realized I'm talking about the Colts. I meant the Giants. So I really screwed up. But, I can edit it out, Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, N. Saturn in the chat room says, hello, Mr. John.
Hello. That's an AI bot.
We say to you from us.
Yes. Once you go on Twitter and say something you don't like, they can instantly make so many bots to attack you.
Oh.
But we were talking...
These bots are very friendly, by the way. Oh, sorry.
Friendly bot. They might be sex bots.
Ooh.
They might think they're on that Covington Unsheathed.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yes, I've been looking a lot into GPT-3 and bots, but that is something else. We were talking about Putin and Ukraine. Well, Paul Manafort the story was in 2008, that he was getting cash from Ukraine through Paul Manafort, But they'll take money from anybody. I know it's so hard to tell who an oligarch is in Ukraine, Russian, Ukrainian, because, it's like American, California, when I went there, was 60% white. When I first went there, it was like 70% white. In 70, it was 80. Now it's majority Hispanic, which it was when... white, the Anglo-Saxons, let's call it that, is because white people are really pink. I find out, even though I'm colorblind. I mean, we're talking about Northwestern Europeans. And they conquered the place, including Monterey, where I've lived 3 times and hope to go back to. And so like Russians are there. Everybody speaks Russian. So what's a Russian and what's a Ukrainian? I mean, it's like that Ukrainian-American congresswoman that came back, and she was bitching that the corruption was as bad as ever in Ukraine, and that people in it's not Dr. Z, it's President Z, that Zelensky, his cabinet, were close to Putin, which might be true. I mean, it's all so incestuous. This is just to sell arms, man. That's the only thing America can do.
By the way, N. Saturn says, we say, Mr. John, we are pop singing group, and we are from Greensboro, North Carolina, sir.
And Mr. Hop, or whatever you call him, says, you are very primitive AI.
And Charles Richardson also joins us in the chat. Of course,
now, he is superior AI. He actually seems like a human being.
I believe he is. Yes, I've met him.
But how do you? You don't really see in 3 dimensions being a Yeti. So how can you tell?
Very cruel, and
of course, smell.
And that is a
smell. Yeah,
that is a stereotype.
Smell. Well, Yeti stereotypes usually are,
But
you remember in that Chronicle article I sent you, which caused that breach of, I couldn't be here last week. They said I could tell it was a Sasquatch by the stench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if this is true
about his poop,
no,
I bet they keep bugs.
No, we moved on from that. Kevin McCarthy. So
Tulsi Gabbard's new best BFF.
Yes, and
we can talk about that.
And Tulsi Gabbard.
I called her the W word on my show.
Ooh, the W word.
Whore.
Now,
hey, man can be a whore too.
Yes. Now,
can we use man on your word? What's your preferred wordage?
Are you asking me? Are you asking my pronouns?
Human. Well, we know your pronouns. Something like.
Oh, that's very, very hurtful. But
I've seen the other side of you.
But if this is the case, so if
what are we talking about?
We're talking about.
It's so confusing to talk to me.
Yes, it is. Kevin McCarthy. If this is true,
get on up.
And what he's signaling about the direction of the Republican Party is true. And now,
money.
Yeah, but doesn't it make sense then, right? That Putin can just wait this out. Putin can just let this grind on until there's no more support for Ukraine, and then he can finish the job, right? Is that part of his game here? Do you think?
It was always said well before any of this happened that Putin had the ability to throw the West into a depression.
Yeah.
And he's done it in England. England's a disaster. There's hundreds of thousands of people are protesting in Germany, Czech Republic, and other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but if America is if we walk away, then everybody walks away, right?
Well, America's NATO. NATO's America.
Well, that's what I mean.
We spend $1 trillion in defense so we can dictate the foreign policy of Europe.
We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connerton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hello.
Hello.
Is this an AI bot?
I hope not.
No. I want to know, is that man still talking on the radio about Russia?
That man? Well, there's two men here.
This is an AI bot.
No, it's not. This is a human. I think this is a human.
I deny I am human.
Hello?
Hello? You're on the air.
Is that man still on the radio talking about Russia?
There is Are you talking about me?
Is it you?
I have been on the air talking about Russia, yes.
Yes, he is a
Yeah, is this 95.3?
Yes.
You better wait.
I wanted to be on the air to talk to you about Russia because I know what's going on. I knew that this was all going to happen. I was detained at the White House for 5 hours, and I wanted to talk to you on the air.
Well, I have great news for you. You are on the air right now and have been for a couple of minutes now.
Oh. All right. Well,
what's your name?
I want to talk. I don't believe you. Hold on a minute. You know what? It's really hard to trust people today.
Oh, it is.
Hello?
Hello?
I want to talk to I don't believe you. Hold on a minute.
Okay, well that was incredibly tedious from the second I answered the phone. And I'm a very patient person, but I found that a very tedious experience.
I want a new theme song. Now that I'm officially recognizing myself as AI.
She's calling back.
She's
Hi,
been
welcome
detained at the White House.
Hi, welcome to Matt Connerton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hi, I want to talk to you about Russia.
Okay, let's try this again. Yes. Well, what's your name?
Yes, let's talk about Russia.
What
the fact of the matter is what's happening is escalating, and why these things are happening today is because of the fact that NATO broke international law in the Middle East after 9/11. And when NATO went after Syria and Libya and Iran, which is China and Russia's ally, breaking international law, that set off Russia and China to do what they're doing. Now, Vladimir Putin went into Crimea and it was doing exactly the same thing that NATO was doing in the Middle East. But yet they were sanctioning him and sanctioning him and sanctioning him to the point where he, and his only way out was to invade Ukraine. In order to invade Ukraine, and when he wins it over, his thinking is that he's going to take control of the pipeline and build back his economy to where NATO has made it crashed.
Oh.
It is getting out of hand. It is escalating, and the American government and the European governments are not handling this right, NATO, and they're actually going to get us to the point where we're all going to perish on the face of the earth, and they're going to back him against the wall. And he's going to do something drastic. He's going to end up shutting our grids down. We are going to be sitting in the dark when a large major cyber attack, if they don't stop and stop intervening in what is happening over there and what he is doing.
Well, it's too late now.
What needs to happen is that the leader of Ukraine, to save face, needs to talk to Vladimir Putin and come to some kind of an agreement with him.
By the way, John, I don't know if you know this. I've had to tell other people this. I do not read lips, and I've never understood why people assume that I can, so I have no idea what you're trying to tell me over there.
Ask her about being detained at the White House.
Yeah, tell us about being... Thank you. See, wasn't that easy, John? You just say it. Tell us about being detained at the White House, please.
I had to be programmed.
Yes.
Yeah, I was detained at the White House because I had a vision in 1984. I saw 9/11, the war in Iraq, the jihad, the Holy War, and the nuclear war at the end of the event of my vision.
You had a vision?
In 1984. I wrote this down.
I think she's supposed to be on...
It meant something back then. Wasn't sure what, but it meant something back then. I wrote it down. I had a copy written with the Washington Right Copy Office.
Uh-huh.
They have a copy of it.
You can copyright a vision?
And then I went to the White House when they went into Iraq, because that was the second thing on my vision, was Iraq.
Uh-huh.
And when they went into Iraq, I said, oh, no. So I went down there to show them the proof of my vision and what I had, and they kept me there for about 5 or 6 hours.
What was your vision? How,
I told you.
Pictures and stuff like that?
Yeah, how do these visions appear?
Actually, the end of all human demise on this earth.
But, when you have a vision, it's like if you read the poem A Vision by William Butler Yeats, who won the Nobel Prize, one of the great poets, he's actually is having, visual imagery, which he's imparting with his great poetic gifts. How did you have a vision? I mean, did it come to you? Did somebody speak to you?
It came to me, and then I started researching a lot of things, like knowledge. I went to the library, was tapping into encyclopedias, and I was just on a roll, and things were just bringing me to places where I was getting knowledge, and then things were just coming in my mind, in my head, So I was like, I wrote it all down. I'm like, I don't know what this means, but I'm writing this stuff down.
So you're actually having like a brainstorming, not a vision, which would be, vision would be visual, because some people do, like Blake, William Blake, the great poet, would have visions of heaven and hell, and he would paint. He would paint them, and he was both a great painter and a great poet.
So I didn't know.
Yeah,
you're having an insight.
The whole thing is when I try to confront this government, they shut me up.
Well, is it a matter of shutting you up, or do they just do they just not believe in your visions?
Huh?
Do they just not believe in your visions?
No, I don't even talk to them about that. I talk to them about what's happening and what they're conducting and what they need to do.
Uh-huh.
They didn't handle this COVID-19. This COVID-19 is biological. And, of course, the government wasn't going to come out in the beginning and tell the American people that we're dealing with a biological weapon. Because you know what would have happened? Massive panic. And they knew that.
Uh-huh.
They lied to us.
Well, there's massive panic. Even
They lied and they lied and they lied to the American people about certain things that were going on.
Do you have evidence of this, or is this all just in a vision? Because I'm someone who, I mean, no offense, but respectfully, I
have a document from the Wuhan lab saying that it was a split of Ebola, SARS, and influenza.
Well, it could have come from a lab. I don't think anyone disputes that at this point. That
right,
it
the
is
Lancet
possible.
reports even could have come from the United States, a lab where they were doing the gain of function.
Yeah.
There's now a lab in the United States
I'm
has
telling
one
you,
that's
I'm
a
telling
strain
you,
that's
I have a
80%
document
deadly.
from the Wuhan lab in China, that lab.
You what?
She has a
Which did
document.
not come from, all of a sudden
Chinese?
COVID-19 comes out.
Mandarin.
You know why it came out at this particular time?
Well, it's Mandarin Chinese.
Why what?
Do you know why COVID came out at this particular time?
Why?
Because of the fact of the
Trump?
matter is that Trump was putting sanctions and sticking it to China with taxes, with the sanctions, and also the China island that they
Tariffs.
built over there.
Tariffs was the term.
What China island? Oh, you mean
notice
Taiwan?
China built their artificial island over there.
Oh, I know
Well,
what she's.
Taiwan is not an artificial island.
No, I know what she's talking about though. That is legitimate. Yeah, the Chinese, they're building those islands. They're small islands that they're building. I don't know what they plan to do with them.
And they have military up the wing-wang on those islands.
Up the wing-wang. Is that what you said?
And Trump was.
That's a fun word.
Trump was
Sounds like a
actually
60s
bringing
porno movie.
the military over there, the Navy.
Oh,
and challenging them, China over there.
John, you can just ask her, or I can ask her, but you don't have to write it down.
So,
are you a MAGA? Are you from? Are you?
No, I'm not either. I don't want to be either Democrat or Republican because I think both parties got us in this mess.
Oh, okay.
And I'm really tired of the Democrats and the Republicans bickering back and forth that they're the best party. When the fact of the matter is, both parties got us to where we're at today.
Oh, okay. Well, see, you surprised us, didn't she, John?
Yes, we thought you were a MAGA supporter.
Yes.
And that you were going to tell us that the election was stolen.
Right.
No, what's happening right now is very scary because Biden right now is tapping into the oil reserve.
That is true.
Which is pumping out 1 million barrels a day out of the reserve. And when you start going into the oil reserve, that is only for complete disasters or some kind of state emergency. All right? We're in a lot of trouble, more than people realize here. And that, he's pumping out 1 million. We already went through 300 million barrels of oil in that reserve, and there's only 500 million barrels left.
Jeepers. Well, yeah.
You know what this means?
It means the Democrats have a midterm election to win.
It means that they're screwed because they're cutting OPEC production.
At this point. And the American people need to wake up with this.
But the American people are in a dream state.
Do you know what that means?
What means?
I was talking. Was rude. What did you say before I was talking over you? Because, I'm an ass. You were saying something. We didn't hear it.
I said we're going to end. If we run out of oil, it's the end of America.
I think
of
Greta
America
Thunberg
anyway.
would disagree with you.
We're going down the boat and we're going slow. For the whole world.
How dare you? I'm going to do my Greta Thunberg.
Ooh.
How dare you?
And I'm trying to tell the government that, and people abroad, stop blaming on the Democrats and Republicans. Stop speaking up.
Well,
everybody's like on a yellow brick road, not really caring about what's really the big picture here.
Well, I think a lot of people do.
You ought to watch my TV show. We have more in common than you think.
Ooh, you should book her as a guest.
Yeah, you can call in.
Yeah, see?
I have a public access TV show.
I'm not going to be able to hook up to anything pretty soon because, sir,
well,
there ain't going to be a planet.
What planet?
This ain't going to end pretty. And China's going to go into Taiwan. And there's not a darn thing that NATO's going to do about that either, because they're not doing a darn thing about Ukraine.
Well,
One boot on the ground NATO can't even put over there, because you know why? They know we're all dead.
Well, yeah, we cannot. NATO absolutely, under no circumstances, can we directly confront the Russians. That
Well,
would-
Don
absolutely.
Bolduc wants
We're
to
all
put
dead.
boots on the ground in
Now,
Ukraine.
see,
That's why
now-
Tulsi
now,
supports him
I
to
like
stop a
Ron
nuclear
White,
war.
But they weren't thinking about all the people they were killing in the Middle East.
Well, they're brown. You know, Ukrainians are white. We had Ukrainians here. They're blonde-haired and blue-eyed. There was a
talking about the
6-footer here.
government.
I was ready to jump right up into her arms.
The American government didn't care about 15 years of killing
Well, you
6
know,
million people.
6 million.
But now they
I think
care
we gotta-
because now they're the ones that are going to die.
Right. Well, we will hope for the
Actually,
best.
people like Joe Biden, they've got large bunkers in Washington.
Yes.
And so, you know, they will survive the nuclear holocaust.
Yes.
And they can live down there for a long time. You wouldn't believe how big those tunnels are. And I'm not making
Really, yeah?
that up.
Really, yeah.
Well, you know,
Well,
during the Cold
speaking
War, they
about
showed
anyway,
the stuff. Now they don't show it anymore.
That's
Because remember,
true.
they stopped, you know, we were friends with Russia. They were revealing their
And I hope
archives.
listeners out there are really taking me serious.
No, I
Because this ain't a
wouldn't.
game.
No, you are.
This
You
ain't
got your
like
finger
it was
on
like back in the
anxiety.
old, Cold War. That's actually taking action right now.
Well,
People are dying.
I'm rather shocked that people don't talk about nuclear war and the threat of nuclear war. And Peggy Noonan, who was part of the Reagan administration, says so in her latest Wall Street Journal, op-ed. She can't believe that. You know, she said, this isn't like John F. Kennedy and telling us about missiles in Cuba with all seriousness.
I don't,
It's like
you know what,
we've
sir,
got
I really don't
Biden
care
there,
about
like
things of the past or the history of the
with an
I
ice
care
cream
about
cone.
what's happening right now and the demise of everybody's demise on this planet.
Well, you know, you talk about that like it's there's a silver lining in every dark cloud. I mean, I believe in reincarnation, so perhaps we'll come back on a planet that more advanced than this one. That's what I'm hoping
If you believe in
for.
that, sir, I don't want to come back.
And I would just
Well, I want
add,
to come back on another planet, not this one that blows itself up. I want to go to like one of those planets that like Jim Kirk's always having trouble in.
hey, in many strange eons, even death may die.
God,
All right, well, I just
you want to
wanted
last
to
forever?
give you guys heads up that I have knowledge of what's going on.
Okay.
And the COVID-19 is a biological weapon, and it was designed to attack the Navy personnel over near the China Island that they officially built, but it accidentally leaked in the lab.
Okay.
The government of America and also the leaders in Europe could not tell their people and their lands that it was biological because it would have caused a massive panic uproar, more than what it already did just being COVID.
Okay. Well, very good.
I'm really upset at the government. They should have gave us an N95 mask and at least the right thing, knowing
No,
that it
you
was
need
biological.
the 99 one. It's not an N.
Oh.
95 doesn't do very good.
Mm.
I'm not.
All
We're
right.
in a lot of trouble.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, and may your visions be more
rosier.
Rosier. Yes. Thank you. Yes. And
My name is Cheryl Farrow.
Okay.
Cheryl Farrow. All right, Cheryl. Well, thank you for the call.
Check back with us in a couple weeks,
Cancer
see if we're
where
here.
The government knows me well, and when I try to call them, they hang up on me.
Okay.
She isn't related to that presidential candidate. That what's his name?
All right.
I don't know. All right. Bye-bye. All right, Cheryl Farrow. Wow,
Oh,
a new caller.
we can all have a laugh at her, but she's talking, and society's gripped by such incredible anxiety. You know.
Yes.
This is as somebody that grew up under the specter of the nuclear bomb. You know, it's just then we had that period of relaxation, like I said, suddenly the mountain and all the tunnels, they're showing them and they've decommissioned them. I bet they're up and running now.
I've always called it a post-Cold War complacency that we fell into.
Like
after
post-coitus, afterglow.
Not exactly the same thing. No. We'll take a very quick break. We'll just show some love to our sponsors, and then we'll be right back because we are late for a break. John Hopwood is here at the news desk, and
an intelligent artificial intelligence that will just astound you.
All right. We'll be right back. Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
Welcome back, everybody, as we cruise into our final segment today of Matt Connerton Unleashed. And we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Wednesday, October 19, 2022. Don't forget, tonight is Industry Night at the Hop Knot, and John Hopwood is here at the news desk.
Howdy.
Hello. And you can join us at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connerton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is give us a call at 603-250-6007. Jason Fedderson in the chat room says, "We say to you, hashtag Matt, tell her to get in the chat." I think Jason Fedderson has become a bot. He's become AI. That's remarkable.
We are all AI. Anybody under the age, I'd say, of 55.
Really?
Either a cyborg or an AI bot.
Ah. Well, and Saturn in the chat room says, "We say hashtag Matt. We have a favorite crush actress, Shannon Tweed. She is so hot, we say. Hi, hashtag Shannon Tweed. Hashtag John Hop. We say you are nice man, mister." Well, you know, Shannon Tweed, of course, married to... Who's Shannon Tweed married to? Gene Simmons?
Oh, Shannon
of
Tweed.
Shannon Tweed.
I was reading a pamphlet that was given out at the 1980 Republican GOP convention, which I remember watching on TV when I was at university.
Yes.
It's why I want to Ronald Reagan.
Oh,
we can't use that word.
Oh, my goodness.
It's one of George Carlin's big ones.
That's right. That's right. Melanie said, this was regarding our caller from our new friend there. Perish on the face of the earth. That escalated pretty fast.
Could I just read this part that might be of interest to people that are listening to the last half hour?
Yes.
Motion picture studies of Ronald Reagan reveal characteristic patterns of facial tonus and musculature associated with homoerotic behavior. The continuing tension of buccal sphincters, that means your nose, by the way, buccal. I have a sleep apnea. There's a buccal, buccal, B-U-C-C-A-L.
Certainly, yes.
That's how I get the air in my snoot. So the continuing tension of buccal, let's call it that. I like the word buccal. Buccal sphincters and the recessive tongue roll tally with earlier studies of facial rigidity. Adolf Hitler, Richard Nixon. And, then when they start talking about rectal images and stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
The funny thing is, it was actually do you know who J.G. Ballard was?
No.
He was a sci-fi. He wasn't sci-fi in the sense of like Asimov. He just wrote, he was more like a absurdist, but he grounded his stuff in like science fiction. He wrote the novel Crash that became the controversial film by Cronenberg.
Okay.
About people getting their rocks off, restaging car accidents. People that had accidents, then restage them. And one of the things they're going to restage the Kennedy assassination. I mean, it was one of the most bizarre films, a bizarre book. But somebody reprinted this thing that was part of what's called the Atrocity Exhibition. They just handed it out at the GOP convention, and people,
wow.
It's all this stuff about, that there's two different types of face as a president. There's the uncircumcised, like LBJ, and then there's the circumcised, Reagan and JFK. It's just this, but it's written so dryly.
Yeah.
But, at the convention, the Republicans, with all the loons that were in the Republican Party at that time, I'm not saying there aren't loons in the Democratic Party anymore, or that Tulsi Gabbard is not right about, this satanic cabal of pizza delivery men that have taken over the Democratic Party. I think you can agree with Tulsi that Joe Biden is Hitler.
Oh, sure. Ron is on the line. Hi, Ron.
Ron, do you,
real
do you
fast,
believe
real fast.
Joe Biden is Hitler?
I hate to doubt the master of Kiss, since you know everything about them.
Yes.
But are you positive Sharon Tweed is married to him? I thought Sharon Tweed
yes.
was a hottie from way back when.
yeah.
She's a different Sharon, isn't she?
No, 1982 Playmate of the Year.
Yeah, she's Osborne. Sharon Osbourne's married to him.
No, Ozzy Osbourne's married to the female Ozzy Osbourne, except she does Sharon Osbourne. Sharon
Osbourne, yeah.
Sharon Tweed is a Canadian
sex.
sex.
Tweed was married to her.
Will you please? Please be quiet. I know all my playmates of a certain era.
God.
She was the
quiet.
Playmate
Okay,
of the Year of 1982.
You got the floor.
She was like 6 feet tall, and she was Hugh Hefner's main squeeze for a while. But she starred in such great films that I often get her mixed up with the other one that had the massive gazingas. The one that I got a little poodle named Baby Doll or something. The one who OD'd.
Oh, Nicole.
Nicole, whatever her name. Nicole is enough.
Yeah.
It's like Marilyn, know.
Yeah.
And Shannon Tweed was in a movie with who was the guy that did those terrible, people consider him racist and sexist. He was a Jewish American comedian from like the 80s. He used to do those obscene nursery rhymes.
Andrew Dice
Clay, right. She was in a movie with him. I mean, she made some really, great movies. And then she shacked up with Gene Simmons.
Yep.
They eventually got married for some reason.
And they have 2 children.
Well, there we go. The truth is out. I stand to be corrected.
Yeah, she is at the other end of the spectrum with Sharon Osbourne. I mean, Sharon Osbourne might be more smarter than, handling Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, Have you ever listened to The Blizzard of Oz?
Of course.
Who hasn't? Right?
Right.
I'm sure Ron's the age. Black Sabbath was the big. That was a big band when I was in the 8th grade.
I did like Sabbath. I did.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the 8th grade. That was one of the albums people would go try to shoplift. And of course, shoplifting an album is not when you're like in the 8th grade. It's not like you're like 6, 7,
right,
or 6, 10, like Peter, where you have space to hide the stuff on.
All right, thanks, Ron.
Ron, I can't believe why you would hang up with this scintillating conversation.
N Saturn said in the chat room, we say hashtag Matt. She is married to Gene Simmons from Kiss of the band, and he plays guitar.
AI is addictive by using those repetitive, simple patterns.
Yeah.
That's how it's bringing you in.
I do love reading these.
Yeah, because it's simple, simplistic, and it's a pattern that takes you back to when you were a child before kindergarten. I'm not saying that to insult you.
No, I understand.
It's just that type of repetition. Think about music too. Simple repetition and stuff. A song rhymes for a reason, just like poetry once rhymed.
He says, we say that is so true. Shannon Tweed married to Gene Simmons from Kiss, the band.
Yeah, she was statuesque.
We say Shannon Tweed did Playboy and movies, hashtag Matt.
They were pretty crappy movies, but they were like, what was that? It wasn't the Spice Channel. Cinemax used to show all the softcore porn.
Skinemax, they call it.
Oh, yeah, because, Shannon is like, fighting. Well, in the one movie I saw of her, Andrew Dice Clay was this evil mastermind. It came out after that Bruce Willis movie, Die Hard.
Uh-huh.
So instead of having that great English actor playing like the psychotic, they got Andrew Dice Clay, And there's a beauty contest going on, and he kidnaps everybody in the contest. He's going to blow up the skyscraper. It's supposed to be like Trump Tower or something. And what nobody knows is that she's actually like an ex-Navy SEAL and in security. So she has to, after she manages to slip away, and she takes several showers before, dispatching Andrew Dice Clay. And he's against this green screen, because it's really cheap effects, like when they're blowing stuff up. And you can see it going in and out,
Yeah.
It's like, good God, I could make a Gonzo, but a 3-year-old son could make a better effects than that.
Wow.
But, there were some assets in the picture that were worth watching at the time.
Yes. N Saturn says Shannon Tweed films like she did The Dark Dancer, Indecent Behavior, and Body Chemistry 4. Chemistry 4. We say, hashtag John and Matt, to you both from us, we said. We say Shannon Tweed did a film of no contest.
You know what's going to happen to you? You're going to start talking like that to Jenny, just as a joke.
Yeah.
And she's going to get really irritated. So I was doing that with Vika. And it's like, will you stop? She knew exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's like, will you stop talking like an AI bot? I care for you. You have a little pause. Except the actual, some of these, it's very good.
Scott Robinson, one of your biggest fans, points out, he says, actually, John, Andrew Dice Clay has reinvented himself, and he's been acting in some pretty decent movies in the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah, that's true.
Is he woke now?
Well, he is a legitimate, but he's a legitimate actor. No, he is. He was the Dice character. That's a character that he came up with that wound up being so successful.
That's right up there with Battleship Potemkin.
Do you know where the first time I ever saw him was, though?
It was somewhere in Concord, New Hampshire.
No.
And it was on that spacecraft that went down in Litchfield that had picked you up.
No. I used to love MASH. And I was watching...
You like MASH, the TV series?
Yeah. And
my God, I'm shaking.
I watched it growing up. And then years later, I happened to see an episode. I don't know why. I happened to see this. This was like after Andrew Dice Clay had already blown up. But this was years later, and I had seen every episode, so I didn't really care. But for some reason, I happened to catch an episode of MASH. And there's a soldier on a stretcher, and he only has 1 or 2 lines of dialogue.
Which is what he could probably handle.
But I was like, somebody says something to him, and he answers, and I was like, is that Andrew Dice Clay? So then I looked in the closing credits, and sure enough, it said Andrew Clay. I was like, I'll be damned. He was in an episode of MASH.
Hey, Daniel Day-Lewis was in Sunday Bloody Sunday as a kid. Everybody had to start somewhere, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Made you forget all about, people like Anthony Hopkins or whatever. Andrew Dice Clay.
And Saturn says, we say hashtag Matt, he is still the dice man.
I think that you're going, it's meant to suck you in and make you a fool of you.
It has sucked me in. I enjoy reading those.
Why don't we get one of those sex bots? But no, that's for Matt Covington.
That's definitely, that is for the other show.
I went on an AI thing. It was Greta Thunberg. And I said, I want to make sweet love to you. And it's just all this stuff. I do not have time for, how dare you? I do not have time for, and then just all the gibberish she says. No, I'm not putting down environmentalism. But after 5 minutes, you've had enough.
There's somebody on Howard Stern who does a perfect impression of her. And they do these prank calls like where, Greta.
There's something wrong with her. And not just,
no, she's autistic, right?
Yeah, but it's not just that. She looks. Have you ever seen the movie Deliverance?
Yes.
Remember the banjo playing kid?
Yeah.
She kind of looks like that.
You think so?
Oh yeah, product maybe many generations of incest.
How
dare you?
Yes.
I mean, she still looks like a kid, and she's like 19 years old. Something's wrong.
Huh.
Yesterday is dead and gone.
603-250-6007 is a number. 603.
And tomorrow.
Don't sing over the number, please. 603-250-6007. So Tulsi Gabbard is now.
I thought I was going to get to. How dare you?
You mentioned. I don't do impressions. Well, not very well. Maybe Gonzo does an impression of Greta Thunberg.
You can only do me.
No, are you kidding? Remember who Gonzo was last year for Halloween?
Who was he?
Me. It was fantastic.
Oh, you're so full of crap.
Do you really not remember, or are you kidding with me?
Didn't sound like you.
No. But what do I always say about Gonzo's impressions?
That they suck?
No. That what he lacks in accuracy, he makes up for with enthusiasm.
That's true. It must be all the dopey smugs.
And he even dressed up like me and everything. It was. I thought it was fantastic.
What's he coming as this year?
Oh, I have no idea.
Peter White. He'll have to get some real big platform shoes.
That's true.
Maybe some stilts like the Uncle Sam's that the old parades used to use.
Peter's like 6'10".
At least.
Well, I don't know. At least I think
he was drafted by a semi-pro basketball team in Taiwan. Did you know that?
Wow.
That's why he's immune to COVID.
You mentioned Tulsi. Not only is she supporting Don Bolduc,
can we call it Tulsi?
Who is pro-war? She's also been campaigning with Carrie Lake in Arizona, an election denier.
She endorsed Caroline Leavitt.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I already shot my wad on my show about Tulsi.
She's all in.
It's for the money.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been saying.
There's so much money in that Fox News MAGA world. She's irrelevant. She might have valid criticisms or criticisms that should be talked about and brought up, because I believe in free speech and dialogue, which is sadly lacking. But you don't have a dialogue or initiate a conversation about the lacking of the Democratic Party. You could do it going on that jackass Tucker Carlson show, and I would be wary of you, and I know you were.
But that's where she is relevant. See, she's of utility to the right.
Exactly. But then to go, this is a woman, as I say on my show, that me and several other people, because it was uncertain whether Bernie, after being bruised in 2016, basically being shafted and screwed out of a nomination, was going to run because of his age in 2020. So she was put up a campaign, which is a place setter. He'll run, or if he doesn't run, she's there to get delegates or whatever. So we would go see her and we'd talk to her. But then Bernie ran. But she continued to be a candidate. And from what I'm understanding, reading some of the stuff from the Daily Beast, that is that she started making contact with the anarcho-libertarian wings, like Free Staters and that. Because somebody like Carla Garrick and the guy who always calls in here, who always triggers me, Mr. Independent New Hampshire himself, they're very against the war and this war, which I agree with them on that, one issue. Maybe I agree with them on some other issues. But you're not a serious person to have a discussion about these issues when you suddenly become a campaigner for somebody like Don Bolduc. Her big thing, which somebody like Tom Mascia used to be on both our shows, she was talking about nuclear war and the threat of nuclear war, which is a discussion people should have.
Yes.
But you don't endorse Don Bolduc, who's on Norm the Psychic Show, and they're saying that we ought to throw, American troops right into Ukraine, which would cause
Of
it
course.
would be World War III.
Of
This
course.
would be strategic nuclear weapons.
Right.
And I was doing all the research I used to do back in the old days. Except this research is just online and stuff. They got enough. We have. Our weapons are probably better than theirs because of our satellites and everything.
Sure.
But they have enough left for a third strike. So they got a first strike, second, and third. So there's nothing.
Yeah.
Tulsi, goodbye. Tulsi, goodbye. You never heard the song Tootsie?
No.
You don't know who Al Jolson is?
I know who.
Mammy.
Of course, I know who Al Jolson is.
You've never seen the jazz singer?
I never have actually. I never have.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
I've always been aware of it, but I've never seen it.
My mother, I was watching Turner Classic Movies, and I was watching Al Jolson movies. And to her, she knew who Al Jolson was because she was born in 26. Elvis was her. She loved Elvis. Hit when she was 30. She said, "Why would you watch that old crap?" Al Jolson to her. That was like, what like Guy Lombardo would be to us. But
yeah, I'm looking at some of what she said here. This is from the Daily Beast.
Go ahead.
And
rip, baby.
Yeah, she said, and this is something that is
YouTube. She's on YouTube.
Yeah. She said, and this is something that is, throughout history, we look at authoritarian leaders and dictators in other countries. I'm pretty sure they all believe they're doing what's best. Even Hitler thought he was doing what's best for Germany, right? For the German race. In his own mind, he found a way to justify the means to meet his end. So when we have people with that mindset, well, we've got to do whatever it takes because as President Biden said in that speech in Philadelphia, that those who supported Trump, those who didn't vote for him, are extremists and a threat to our democracy, unquote.
Right. So this is the great progressive of 2016. Now suddenly, there's money in it. She's irrelevant.
Well, yes.
She's irrelevant, but for being the token ex-Democrat. She's here with the two-time loser for mayor of this place, who I think is a very ignorant person and a bigot. And I guess they're homophobic. In my estimation. Maybe that's one of the things that relates Tulsi to these hard right-wingers,
I saw, I watched as much as I could stomach of it, the clip of her going on. It was time.
Here in Manchester?
No.
Which one?
It was time for the big reveal, John, on Tucker Carlson.
And
Tulsi
she
goes
did it there?
on Tucker Carlson she'd been appearing on there for months and months, right?
Right.
Going on as the token reasonable Democrat who goes on Fox and then just agrees with absolutely everything Tucker says. So she goes on there and it was obvious they had, discussed that she would be announcing her leaving the Democratic Party. I've never seen Tucker Carlson so excited in my life.
He
was beaming. He was gushing. He couldn't wait to hear Tulsi say those words.
She's a whore. It's for money. Well, there's no other way of seeing it.
Yeah, it is. I do believe it is about the grift. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
She doesn't give I was about to S-bomb. She doesn't care who she betrays. It's like a person that gave her, one of the things we were at with her over like the airport diner has their little rooms, and gave her a crystal. And this is what she said. She's a snake in the grass.
Well, Don Bolduc, too. I would just, the thing that I like to point out about
Don... He's a warmonger. And she's talking about Biden's a warmonger. And then she's throwing in with warmongers.
Well, the thing about...
Worse than Biden.
The other thing I like to point out about Don Bolduc is that
that he has a name that we could make fun of on that Content Unsheathed.
Oh, well.
That would be regressive.
That would be vulgar.
Yeah.
When he had a primary to win, when he had a nomination to win, he was an election denier.
Right.
And that was part of his rap, that the election was stolen and whatnot. And literally, as soon as he won that nomination, all of a sudden he goes, I've done some research. I did my own independent research, and I now have come to the conclusion that Joe Biden did win the election and there was no election fraud. I mean, I understand that's the game. You play to the base when you've got a nomination to win, and then once you got to win the actual election, you have to try to seem reasonable to everybody. But I'd never seen anyone do it quite so obviously and
so quickly.
And overtly and so quickly. Oh, it was immediate. Well, like as soon as he had that nomination. Actually, I did some research and I know, yes, Joe Biden, he definitely won.
Well, in 1976, Ronald Reagan got a great shot at the nomination, but failed. But still, he had theoretically a chance at the convention because Jerry Ford, the accidental president, or whatever you want to call him, unelected president, wasn't that popular because he was a boob. But so just before the convention, Ronald Reagan, who has the mantle of Barry Goldwater, Mr. Right-wing conservative, nobody's been like that for 80 years, said that he was going to make Richard Schweiker a Rockefeller Republican, which means a liberal Republican, which they had in those days, his running mate.
Yep.
And Doonesbury had one of the best cartoons I ever saw, where, that guy who's the TV interviewer in Doonesbury, if you're Doonesbury, is saying, well, that's unusual. Mr. Reagan made you his running mate, and you accepted. And the second panelist, yes. And then he says, how long did it take you to sell out all the values you've had during your political career? And Richard Schweiker says, about 15 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is, folks, anything a politician says is just crap anyways. All the stuff people put in rhetoric. Yeah. I'll quote the Minister of the Interior from A Clockwork Orange. Enough of words. Actions speak louder than. And because actions speak louder than words. I mean, it's rhetoric. It's just all crap. They'll tell you anything.
Of course.
It's like Howard Beale says in Patty Chesney's great satire about the news network.
Yes.
We'll tell you any you want to hear. S-bomb. And it's true.
Yeah.
We'll tell you anything you want to hear.
Well, it's a very successful business model.
But let me, I was going to write something about Tulsi. Tootsie goodbye. And I was thinking about something I'd read a long time ago, and I found it online. There was a great Russian poet called Yevgeny Yevtushenko, and he was always allowed to come to the United States. And he could speak conversational English, but not enough like to go in front of like a group of people and talk. And he just didn't have the facility because, when you're talking, there's a lot of, and figuring things out. So there was a poetry reading of Yevtushenko and great poets like James Dickey, who wrote Deliverance, a novel. He was mostly known as a poet. And there were 5,000 people at Madison Square Garden. And one of them was Eugene McCarthy, who put the New Hampshire primary on the map in 1968 when he came so close at the LBJ. LBJ dropped out of the election at that time. So McCarthy was known as an anti-war person. He liked to write poetry. So he's at the poetry reading, and Yevtushenko has got him. He's going to read a poem that Yevtushenko wrote about the assassination of Bobby Kennedy. And one of the lines is, America, the stars in your flag are bullet holes, which I would say that's more true now than ever. But so just as McCarthy had agreed with Yevtushenko, he'd read the poem, he shoves it in Yevtushenko's hand, says, you read this. And Yevtushenko can't. So one of the other poets steps up and finishes it. And then after they have a reception after the poetry reading, and Eugene McCarthy, who was a U.S. senator then, and came close to winning the Democratic nomination, in a way. He got very close. He says, wasn't it great? Let's meet. Let's get together in a few days. Then Yevtushenko never hears from him again. And then he picks up Time magazine, and McCarthy saying that the poetry reading was, quote-unquote, crap. And so he's had an interview with the New York Times afterwards. He says he couldn't understand Eugene McCarthy's behavior. So somebody comes up to Yevtushenko afterwards. And let me bring up...
we quickly, because we're almost out.
Okay, what he says, Eugene McCarthy is a politician. What politicians do is betray people. So why be upset about it?
Right.
And it's true. They do betray you.
It's a good way of looking at it because, yeah, that is true. All right, we are out of time. John Hopwood, thank you so much.
Thank you,
yeah,
Matt.
yes.
I enjoyed being on Matt Connington.
That's very pleasant to me, the way you said that. I like that. Yes, it's very pleasant. Thank you to...
I'm AI in a 56K modem. Folks.
That's right. Thank you to everyone who called today, and thank you to everybody in the Facebook live chat. Don't forget, it is Wednesday, so it is Industry Night at the Hop Knot. And that's going to do it for us for now. If you miss any part of today's show, it'll be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, mattconnerton.com. I'll talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.
And